really wonderful interaction with our speaker today, our guest speaker. He's our first one for this pilot project that we're running. And I want to welcome each and every one of you that have taken the time to join us today. Without further ado, we are going to be starting the guest speaking session with Mr. Aaron Barreiro, so that everyone is aware, we are simulcasting this presentation on our YouTube channel, so that it can be available to some of the students that are not available to join today or they were not able to join today. So without further ado, I want to introduce our speaker for today. His name is Mr. Aaron Barreiro, and he graduated from UTRGV with a biology degree with a pre-med focus. While attending college, he served as the president of the Student Government Association, which is SGA. After graduation, he opted out of medical school, which was his plan when he was attending college, and decided to focus on his unique ability to make a difference in people's lives through his leadership skills. As a freelancer, he worked his way from writing a proposal that would earn a six-figure contract to now being a trusted partner in helping build Concord Project Technologies. His main role is overseeing their online learning and certification platforms. So he's also involved in learning opportunities and developing those opportunities. He and his wife co-founded a nonprofit that is serving underprivileged youth in Mexico, and he's highly active on LinkedIn and understands firsthand how this platform can help build meaningful connections in reaching career goals. The main reason that I invited him to join us today is because he's one of my connections on LinkedIn. And for those of you who have not started your LinkedIn profile yet, please go ahead and get started on that, especially if you're approaching your college graduation or a graduate degree completion. It is a must-have tool or presence that online these days. As you know, LinkedIn Learning is one of the largest professional networks globally. So it gives you the opportunity to connect with like-minded people across the globe. And Aaron has done a tremendously good job of that. And I've been observing his activities on LinkedIn. And because he happens to be one of my connections, I said, he's the right person to come and talk to our students that are, going through college and approaching graduation, so that he can share some insights about how he has used LinkedIn as a tool to connect with like. Go ahead, Aaron.
Thank you so much. I'm super blessed and privileged to be here. And I think it's an incredible conversation that we're going to have. And as I was thinking about how I wanted to get things started, before I really talk about myself, I wanted to share a video with all of you. So I'm going to do that now before we get into the presentation.
We can't hear anything. I don't know if
What is up?
Do you mind starting it from the beginning, please? Yes. Volume needs to go up just a tad bit.
What's up, everyone?
Good.
What's up, Vaqueros? My name is Jaleel Mackey. I am a LinkedIn content creator, sales professional, entrepreneur, and a friend of Aaron's, and I'm super grateful to be with you today to tell you why LinkedIn is an awesome place to be.
Hey, what's going on, Aaron? It's James Perry.
What is up, UTRGV fam? This is Josh Griffin coming to you from Greenville, South Carolina.
Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Walter Gaynor II. I'm a creator, producer, and...
My son is here with me. So he's going to participate with me as we talk about LinkedIn and its impact.
When I think of LinkedIn, I think of a platform that has the propensity to be life-changing. You know, a like on an Instagram photo, you know, from a friend that you went to middle school with that you never speak to, that's not nearly as valuable as a like or a comment from someone on LinkedIn, because that could lead to a life-changing opportunity, a better position, better company that you want to be with. So
started engaging with people on posts, commenting, liking, networking with people, setting up Zoom meetings one-on-one. And all of this got me a job in 2 months.
I went back over the last 2 years and looked at all the client relationships that we've had and was curious to know, where did they all come from? It's really good to know that information. So I did the analysis. 90% came from LinkedIn.
From a purely professional perspective, I've seen people get jobs. I've seen people invited on podcasts, myself included. It's a fantastic way to up-level yourself. And as a sales professional, I'm building rapport with my prospects before we even have a conversation. I'm accelerating deals. I'm getting net new opportunities.
I've used it to connect with CEOs, global leaders from around the country.
So much room for growth. I've been on LinkedIn for about 6 weeks now. I've gained over 2,300 followers. And what does that mean? Over 2,300 opportunities right at my fingertips. So take advantage of it.
The amount of opportunities that it has given to me between podcasts. I have 2 podcasts. I have sponsorship opportunities, consulting opportunities. I never need a resume for a job again, because everything that I do is building in public.
I really do love LinkedIn. And as a content creator, I've used it to build community and create all these different conversations.
And I've gone all in. I've gone all in on human to human connecting. The power of LinkedIn is just that.
LinkedIn is brilliant. It is so different to other social media sites out there. Facebook, still the same people from 10 years ago. Twitter is just an argument. I'm not pretty enough for Insta or TikTok. LinkedIn is community. It's about connecting with people.
Weeks ago, I started seeing a lot of posts of people who were in the Ukraine in kind of a desperate situation. But then I started to see people posting that they did have help to offer. Like they could put someone in an apartment or hotel room. And so what I've been able to do with LinkedIn is to introduce these people to each other.
Instead of just clients, I found community, I found friends, found accountability partners. So I found a whole world that I wouldn't have discovered otherwise.
I wanted a place to be myself and express my opinion, my perspective. It's been life-changing because all of the people that I'm connecting with, folks like Aaron, have been extremely, extremely supportive. And not only that, everyone is comfortable with who they are.
I had the opportunity to connect with a lot of people, not only here in the United States, but worldwide.
Develop relationships, and before you know it, we were on Zoom calls actually talking to each other and finding out more about each other's lives and about what we do. And I've created some really impactful friendships that I would not have ever met any other way.
I like data, so I talk about data. There are other people who talk about marketing. There are people that talk about sales. There's people that talk about HR. And we're all posting in here, hopefully, mostly, people like you, to help others.
Instead of just using LinkedIn as a resume placeholder, I would highly encourage you to lean in, engage, drop some likes, drop some thoughtful comments, and also create. Your voice deserves to be heard.
So it's been quite a game changer, and LinkedIn is still a great place to be.
And I think that's what's so impactful. You're setting yourself up for the future. It's not the short game, it's the long game that you're playing. And all of the networking opportunities, all the ways to level yourself up as an individual so that you can progress wherever you want in your career. That's the mindset that you need to have, and that's the impact that LinkedIn has had for me.
So, get on it.
Get on there. It's a powerful platform.
So if you're thinking about getting involved, I highly suggest it. I'll be here to cheer you on. You come find me in the feed, all right?
V's up.
V's up.
V's up.
V's up. UTRGV. Let's go.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to start there is because 40 days ago, I didn't know any of those people in that video. But by getting involved on LinkedIn, by communicating with them, I was able to just put out one post and 14 people responded saying they wanted to share a message with all of you on how they use LinkedIn and the impact it's had on their lives.
And these are
Total
not
in
paid
that-
advertisers, by the way.
No, these are friends. I know every single one of them by name. And that's just the incredible power and speed at which you can really create a powerful network, but more importantly to me, a powerful community. In total, and I'm going to share with you each one of these profiles in my presentation so you can actually connect with them. They have more than 75,000 followers between all of them on LinkedIn. So these are people that are really doing great things, that have leveraged LinkedIn in a powerful way. And I've just felt like that was such an important way for you to just get an idea of what you can accomplish, especially in such a short time. So I'm going to go ahead and now share my screen to get to the presentation. And then we'll go from there. Okay. So today we're talking about networking on LinkedIn, and more specifically about community, building community on LinkedIn. What we want to accomplish today is we want to understand that LinkedIn is more than a virtual resume. And so there are some important aspects that we're going to cover. The first is understand that power of networking. You saw it there in that video. I want to go to it more in depth. After that, the value of connecting. For me, that's the biggest value that I'm getting out of LinkedIn, is just this ability to create a community, create all these connections that are meaningful and that provide friendship, provide value to my life in ways that you can't measure traditionally. And then I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can optimize your profile based on all of my experience I've had both as a resume writer and as I've developed my profile and optimized it over the past couple of weeks. And then just encourage you that the time to get started is now. So about me, I think Jay gave a perfect background as far as my time there at UT RGV. I was the UTPA president, SJA president, the last year before it became UT RGV. I was involved in the entire process from being actually interviewing all of the candidates. I actually got to interview the current president, Dr. Guy Bailey, and everyone else that was in that position. I remember being in that room and what it felt like, and just being involved, like each one of you, puts you in another world entirely when it comes to preparing yourself to be a professional. And so that experience for me was just a blessing. And so that's my time at college. Like Jay said, I was supposed to go to medical school and I decided not to. I can explain that maybe if we have more time on another day, but I decided to go a different route. And long story short, are you still seeing my screen?
Aaron, we weren't seeing it before. It was just black. So
Okay.
now we're not seeing the black anymore. But
Can you see it now?
it says that you're sharing it, yet we just see black. I'm not sure what might be the issue.
Want to start connecting with each other.
Okay.
We can see it now. Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So today, I'm a program manager and content creator. I work for a company called Concord Project Technologies. So we are a small consulting company, but we are a six-figure company. Last year, we brought in $500,000. And over the 4 years that I've been working with them, I've been a huge part of that process. Like it was said earlier, I was brought in as a freelance writer. In that time, I wrote them one proposal that would lead to a contract with ExxonMobil, and that eventually turned into the role that I have today. And now we are working to get new investments and do different things. And so my journey has been an interesting one as a professional. I've learned a lot of different things. Like I also said, I used to be a proposal writer and resume writer, and so that was when I was doing freelance work. I've since become full-time with my current company. Outside of that, I also am a nonprofit director with my wife. I'm actually talking to you from Mexico. we moved to Mexico to start our nonprofit and do the things that we're doing. And so aside from my day job, I'm also doing that. And I've taken up content creating on the side. And so the biggest question is why? Like, why spend the time? Why make an effort to use LinkedIn to connect, to build a network? How is that going to be powerful or impactful? And so my answer to that is I spent a lot of time thinking about what I'm doing, how I'm spending my time with my full-time work and the nonprofit. I've come to a point where I've realized that there are certain things that you just have to work for and put yourself in the position to succeed and accomplish things that you want to. You are always going to work and build with people, but at the same time you need to be able to have the ability to, if you want to accomplish certain things, you need to work intentionally and proactively to put yourself in that position. And so I read a book called The One Thing that I recommend everyone take a look at. But essentially the idea of that book is you need to identify one thing in your life that when you do it and you accomplish it, everything else that you want to accomplish afterwards is going to be even easier. And as I was dealing with that idea of what is really my one thing, it came down to wanting to have financial freedom, to have complete dominion over my most valuable asset, which is my time. As it stands today, if I want to spend time doing things for our nonprofit, I have to step away from work. If I need to work to be able to sustain the work that we're trying to do with our nonprofit, then I have to step away from that volunteer time. And so my time is divided always, and I want to be in a position in my life where that's not the case. And so again, the question is, how does LinkedIn do that? LinkedIn is going to give me the ability and the freedom to create a platform for myself, to establish myself as a thought leader in what I consider community building, and give me an opportunity to build different revenue streams, to start a side hustle that can complement my income, and eventually be able to create all different kinds of things, whether it's passive income. It's going to push me more to connect with people and work more in my investments. And so LinkedIn has become a place where I believe it's the starting point to put everything into action. And it may sound silly for people who have not had the opportunity to really get connected on LinkedIn, but I promise you, the opportunities are endless if you know how to spend your time right. So that gets into the power of networking on LinkedIn. And so a couple of things I want you to see here. On the screen, you'll see 800 million people are on LinkedIn today. Of those 800 million, only 260 million are active monthly. And of those 260 million, only 3 million are posting on a consistent basis every week. So that's a lot of numbers. What does it mean? It means first that only 1% of everyone who is actually active on LinkedIn is posting. So if only 1% is posting, that means 99% are not. Why does that matter? Well, then you can look at right here on this side. 4 out of every 5 people on LinkedIn drive business decisions. So there are 4 out of 5 people, 80%, are in a position to make a purchasing decision, in a position to make a hiring decision, in a position to make investment decisions. And yet only 1% of the entire active population on LinkedIn is sharing what they're doing, is telling these decision makers, hey, I'm available to work. Hey, I'm starting a business. Hey, we're doing and selling this product. And so if there's 99% of people that are being quiet, that leaves a lot of room and space for this 4 out of 5 people to be consuming what you decide to put on the platform. Now, the other thing, 3 people out of are hired every 60 seconds on LinkedIn. So every minute, someone's getting hired because of what they do on LinkedIn. It may not be directly related to the content they create. Some people are obviously getting hired despite not creating content. But those who are on LinkedIn and are using the platform the way it can be used are in a better position to find a job in a place that they want to work. This last statistic is 87% of the top 500 companies in the United States are using LinkedIn right now to tell their stories, to recruit, and to network. So if you want to work for one of these top 500 countries in the United States, there is no reason why using LinkedIn is going to put you in a negative position with these people. More than likely, if you know what you're doing, it's going to put you in a strong position and a position that separates you from the rest as you start to navigate the world that is beginning your career, finding the job that you want to work in. I understand everyone here is either in their undergraduate studies or their master's studies, but essentially, as you're studying, you have time to establish who you are, what you believe, what you think by using your LinkedIn platform properly. And by the time you graduate, you can then have, like one of the people in the video said, you'll have many more opportunities at your fingertips because you've done the work prior to you graduating. So this gives you just a snapshot of the power that you can find with the network on LinkedIn. Now, how do I plan to accomplish my why with LinkedIn, and why, to me, above networking, I place connecting and building community? Is because, like you said, you can create real connections. I have grown my followers in the past 35 days by over 500 people. I've begun to understand and develop what's called my personal brand. And I've begun to establish my own platform on LinkedIn, so much so that when I interact with people, when I ask things of people, they're willing to deliver. And now I'm building my community. And so how does that all lead to me accomplishing my why? So in the background, what I'm doing right now is I'm working with people to really work on that idea of my personal brand. Every one of us has what's called a personal brand. And I think this is something super important. If you're taking notes, I would put, quotes around this, highlight it, but your personal brand is who you are. Whether or not you do anything to promote it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Everything you do online, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Instagram, it's telling people who you are, what's important to you, what you value. And every time that you put that out there, that's what people are going to associate with you, and that's what your personal brand is. And so in the background, what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out in detail what my brand, what I want it to be. So I'm actually working with coaches, I'm working in communities to build that idea, so that way I can establish my brand and set myself apart from other people wanting to do the same things that I want to do. Like I said, I understand 4 out of 5 people are in a position to buy or make a decision on LinkedIn. So if I can understand what I want to accomplish, what side business I want to start, if I can create a platform for myself as a thought leader, as an expert in that area, the moment that I begin to sell, the moment I begin to open services or open a community, the easier it is that it's going to be for me to be able to make that transition. So an example, I have a connection on LinkedIn. His name is Brandon Flaherty. He's a sales professional, and he's spent the past year just developing his brand, developing what he does, helping people navigate what it means to sell effectively, and just redefining what sales means. Yesterday, Monday, he launched his first paid for product. And in the first day, he sold 250 of those products on the very first day. He didn't do any marketing. He didn't put an ad. He didn't do anything. He had such a strong community around him that just by making one post, one announcement, he was able to make 250 sales in one day. And so that's what you can accomplish when you invest on connections, when you decide that what's important to me is more than just the network. It's meeting people, understanding who they are, and the value that they bring to my life and the value they bring to others. Ultimately, what I've come to and what I want to be known for and associated with is building community. With everything that's happening in the world, there's a guy named Justin Welsh and other people online that they have a powerful community. And what blew me away is that when you create business off of community, your impact goes beyond business. Essentially, when you have a community of people that comes around you, that believes in what you can do, all of a sudden, you don't just have financial capital, you have social capital. And when you have social capital, that can create changes in ways that honestly seem outrageous, but they're possible. when you build community and you have social capital and you literally have thousands upon thousands of people that believe in what you say and are able to be influenced by what you do, you're able to take things like what happened in Ukraine and start encouraging and setting the example that you need to give, you need to donate, and people are going to follow. Based off of this one individual, his name was Justin Welsh. He helped raise over $100,000 for people in Ukraine trying to be relocated, trying to get out of the country. And that's just by having his posts go viral throughout LinkedIn, everyone sharing it and using that as an opportunity to share resources and to make donations. And so when I think about community, it's something beyond business. It's this idea that I can connect with like-minded people, and together we can create causes and address causes that can change the world. It's a powerful idea, and that for me is what I'm really, really focused on as I work on accomplishing my why. Not just to put myself in a position of financial freedom, but like I said, to spend my time the way I want to spend it. And that's by helping others, by giving my time, by giving of my resources, and inspiring others to do the same. So now that we've talked about those different aspects of the power of the network that you can find on LinkedIn, plus the importance of actually networking and connecting and prioritizing community, I want to give you some tips on how you can optimize your profile. So I'm separating it into two parts. And this comes from my experience, one, creating content and interacting with so many people that have platforms on LinkedIn, plus my time that I spent for 2 years writing resumes, writing cover letters, and actually helping people write their experience section on LinkedIn for a company that I did for 2 years a few years ago. These people were all individuals applying for government jobs, applying for high-level executive jobs. And so that combination of experience is important because I understand, one, the practical side of really doing your experience, your skills, and your miscellaneous areas well, plus adding the creative and authentic part of who you are in other sections of your profile. And so that's how I want you to divide and look at your profile as you go through this with me. So the first part that we're going to focus on is this part on top, which is the creative, the authentic, this is who I am post, part of your LinkedIn profile. And so these are all things that are very transparent and people are going to see all the time. So when you're on LinkedIn, what people are going to see as you interact, as you communicate, they're going to see your picture and they're going to see your headline. Everything that you do, every comment, every post, your headline is going to be seen. And so it's very important that you identify how you want to be, how you want to identify yourself with that headline. So this means having something that's very clear, that is interesting, that is thought-provoking, and tells people as you interact with them, this is who I am. So your headline is the number one thing above everything else, because even though it's not the first thing you see on your profile, it is, excuse me, it is what will be seen everywhere else on the platform. And if you are commenting and if you're active, this is what people are going to see. So you need to create a headline that represents you. In a little bit, I will show you mine. So aside from the headline, then you have your banner. So as you go onto your LinkedIn platform, you'll see your banner. You'll see this is supposed to meant to really just give people an idea of who you are. It's a way to be creative and a call to action. Okay, and so a CTA, this is something talked about a lot in business, especially small businesses and things like that. But a call to action is just letting people know, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to follow you? Do you want them to reach out? Do you want to have a conversation with them? And so this is your chance to create a call to action that is engaging and interesting for people that land on your profile. Then is your featured section. So this can be whatever you want it to be. You can have posts that you've put that were very valuable, or you can put your website, your newsletter, blog, any link that you want to put can be your featured. This is important because it's the next step and it's going to represent who you are and what you value. And the last thing is your about. Now, there are a couple ways to go about this. You can have a very standard about section, but if you really want to stand out, the more interesting your about is, the more leverage you can have in this area, because this is your chance to tell your own story. And every time you tell your story, you're selling yourself. You're telling people what you value, you're telling people what's important to you, and why they should value a connection with you. And so I will show again my bio in a little bit. And all of this is going to lead to people following or connecting with you. Now, the only way people are going to land on your profile is if you're providing value and if you're doing things that are meaningful on the platform. That conversation we're not going to have today on what it means to have those conversations to create value, how you develop your posts on LinkedIn. But I do want you to understand that all of this is important, and it's going to lead to people building on your network, deciding to connect with you. Again, the other considerations that I want to share with you are your experience, your skills, and other miscellaneous things. Your experience, this is the resume section of LinkedIn. This is the only resume section of LinkedIn. Everything else you do on the platform is outside of your profile. And I want you to understand that. Most of us and most of you, as you're sitting there today, think of LinkedIn as your profile and that's it. But LinkedIn is a social platform for business professionals. And LinkedIn is slowly trying to change what the idea of a business professional is. But essentially, it's people who are there to get work done, who are doing startups, who are trying to pursue their goals and to help other people pursue their goals. And so if you get caught on the mindset that the only important part of your LinkedIn experience is your profile, you're completely missing out, okay? So as you work on your experience, just like any regular resume, you want to focus on writing accomplishments, things that you've done. In every position that you've been in, you have accomplished something, okay? And so this is from my experience writing resumes. Instead of saying, you know, I provide administrative support through emails and receiving calls and things like that, you add numbers. I receive 200 inbound calls a day. I send over 50 emails a day, and you let people know what it is that you accomplish. If you've worked on a project, if you've created a report, your experience should be focused on highlighting those accomplishments, not just describing what you do, but telling people, I do this and it leads to this result. And so that's how your experience should be written on your, for each one of the jobs or other things that you've done. It's important when you get to your skills, you can have 50 skills on LinkedIn, but only the top 3 are going to be the first ones that people see on your platform. So it's important that you choose those 3 wisely, depending on what you want to be known for. And lastly, miscellaneous things, you do want to include your certifications, you do want to have your recommendations, and of course, the languages that you speak. Languages are very important. There's a huge movement to be more inclusive, to be more promoting people of color, being just really opening up the landscape for people to have conversations around these different things. And so share the languages that you have, be mindful of those different things. And that's how you can really have a profile that's optimized. So I'm going to take a second and share with you what my LinkedIn profile looks like. Let's see if I have it. So here is my profile. You can see here, this is the headline that I'm talking about. So what I've landed on is this idea. Like I said, I want to be known for community building. And so my headline is, believes community building can change the world. Your community is waiting. So essentially, as I'm developing my position and what I want to do on the side, for me, it's creating community and helping people launch their business, their service, their product off of community. And so here, when I say your community is waiting, what I'm telling people is there's a community of people that is waiting for you to lead them, to show them, to gather them, and I want to help you get there. So that's what my what my headline is. This is what I talked about as far as your banner. This is your featured section. And so here I've used this as a place to really highlight what's going on in Ukraine, give people the opportunity to come here, continue to support and provide the help that's needed there. And then this is the about. So you can see here, this is not a traditional about section. I tell people what's important to me. I tell people what I want to do. I tell people what makes me feel like a kid again. And I tell them what I like to talk about. So this is an opportunity to really just show people who you are, to stand out from the rest. You can use this however you want. You can have a traditional bio. The decision is yours. But when you receive people that get to your profile, read your about, and tell you, I love your about section, it's meaningful. Then you have your experience. And so you can see here how that works. So you want to focus on specific things, client services. This is from my time working at the working as a resume writer. We always put the keywords first, so that way people know, okay, this is client services. This is what I did. I provided executive assistance. This is what I did. And so I haven't updated this in a while. But that's the language you want to have. You want people to know exactly deliverables that you've delivered. Manuals of over 100 pages long. I've worked with clients in over 4 continents around the world. And so I'm telling people specifically things that I've done, not just I work with clients internationally. I tell them where I've worked with them. And so that's what you want with your experience. Your education, your licenses and certifications. And I know that you all are using LinkedIn Learning, so definitely show those. Have them here. There's no reason not to display them. Recommendations, languages, and of course, volunteering. So this is what my profile looks like. And let me get back to the presentation. And so that's how I recommend that you optimize your profile as well. So the last thing I just want to say to y'all before we open up some questions is to start now. I approached these 2 college students a couple days ago. They put these posts on there and I wanted to put them to share with you guys. So they gave me the okay. So this is Cole Hayden. He's a junior at UNC, University of North Carolina. And he knows a couple of people that I know. Doug George and Eddie Bainham are 2 people that I'm connected with. And you can see what he's talking about here. He's sharing his experience, how he was trying to post, trying to get some metrics, and it wasn't working. But since being mentored by these 2, asking for help, he's now had his profile visited more than 500 times. He's had 29 different conversations via messages, 190 new followers in just 7 days, 298 search appearance, 17,000 post views, 112 comments, 200 reactions. And so he talks about how he changed, what's changed. This is someone in university that I thought was very relatable. She was talking about how she has just 1.5 years before she graduates and the fear of not knowing what to do or what her plan is. And so she talks about what she is doing and why that matters. And I wanted to show this to you because I know when you're in college, she's actually in her master's, you sometimes feel like you have nothing to share. But the great thing about LinkedIn is there is always something that you can teach someone. There are other college students on there that are reading, that are learning. All you need to do is focus on sharing your experience and putting value in that post. And you can see here, there's a lot of value. The value from Cole, look, I'm doing something different and it's working. I only cut a part of this post because it was longer than I could grab. And here she's telling you what she does. Obviously, she's putting the value that she provides to the world by freelancing, by coaching people. So this is a really good example of what you can do as a student to leverage LinkedIn for your personal benefit and for the benefit of others. So that concludes what I wanted to talk to you about today. Does anyone have any questions?
Ask away any questions that you all might have. You can post it as a comment if you want, or you can ask verbally as well.
I have a question. It was a wonderful presentation, by the way. Thank you, Erin. I would like to know, I mean, on a grander scale, what is the biggest success story you feel like you've seen on LinkedIn, right? I mean, if there is one, like a highlight story. That could be an open question for the audience, though. I mean,
so I'll share mine, and if someone wants to jump in. So there's an individual that I know. Her name is Elizabeth Liba, and she did not use LinkedIn a few years ago, but was moved to do so with the things that were going on in the country. George Floyd was what happened with George Floyd. That moment in history was really a place that impacted a lot of people. And so in reaction to that, she began to just post her feelings, share what she was going through in a very authentic and transparent way. And in under a year, she grew her platform to over 100,000 people, which is just mind-blowing to accomplish something like that. And she's used it to create a podcast to promote other people of color, have those conversations, push that conversation forward, and she's done it impactfully. Her name is Elizabeth Liba. Definitely recommend that you all go and look for her on LinkedIn because she's an incredible person. That's just one story. There are a lot, but that's just one.
There's a question in the chat. You may want to take it.
Of course. Oh, yes. About creator mode. So that is a personal decision. I definitely recommend that you use creator mode for a couple of reasons. First, it's going to give you the opportunity to do a different, more things with your LinkedIn profile. You're going to be able to use live functions. You're going to be able to have the opportunity to essentially test out new things. For instance, a new feature in LinkedIn is called audio rooms. And so people that have their creator mode on are the first people that get those opportunities to try those different things. So I definitely recommend it. It's also a really good way to distinguish between people who are wanting to connect to, essentially people versus people that really don't know you and just kind of want to understand what you're doing, right? And so when you have creator mode on, the option is to follow as opposed to connect right away. And so that means people can follow you and they will always be seeing what you're doing, what you're posting and things like that. Whereas if you have it off, the option is only to connect. You can look for follow, but that's a really good way to, there are going to be people who the way they say it is, jump in and want to pitch you and sell you things. And so especially as you start building more and more of a platform, having that small little barrier makes it a little easier to manage that influx of people that want to connect with you. So it's a personal decision. I have it on. I think it's a great way because honestly, the way the platform works with LinkedIn, you can have conversations in the comments. Like I have people who in the comments, I'm always talking to them and I don't even realize we're not connected because we're always going back and forth with each other. So it definitely doesn't hurt to have it on.
Another thing that I wanted to share is LinkedIn has also introduced, when you're direct messaging someone through LinkedIn, you can actually pick up and have video chats with that person as well. So it doesn't have to be text. That really creates this ability to interact with that person individually, face to face, so you can see all the nonverbals as well. So that's a feature that LinkedIn introduced recently that I noticed is excellent because it really, when it comes to sharing ideas, thought leadership, whatever else it is, it provides that easy, quick bite that you may want to walk away with by talking to an expert that you're connected to. So, I also wanted to take a moment to remind you all that you all have free and easy access to LinkedIn Learning Platform. And there are video snippets that talk about exactly what Erin shared with you all today, how to build your LinkedIn profile, how to, build your followership connections, anything and everything that you need to know about really establishing yourself as an individual, not just a profile on LinkedIn, is all there. But I really felt that he shared something from a personal point of view today that I think is very connectable. I'd like for you all to really listen to, like, go back and listen to it again. It'll be on our YouTube channel. Go back and listen to it again and see what you can grab from that. The most important thing that I wanted to walk away with for all of you today is that many of you, are majoring in creative type of fields, whether it's communications, graphic design, video editing, whatever else it is. Really, once you set up your LinkedIn profile, you really don't have to worry about putting together a static resume, a one-pager, because the world is your showcase at this point, right? The world is your audience. So as you begin to add more and more like-minded people, begin to post your work as well. If you're a graphic designer, if you worked on something really exciting, LinkedIn allows your ability, the ability to just upload it quickly and say, this is my latest work. I mean, seriously, you don't have to worry about getting a chance to walk through the door for an interview, because you really have the world at your fingertips at this point. So definitely LinkedIn Learning to learn and develop new skill sets and begin to experiment with them and come up with your own work that you can post on LinkedIn. That's the main reason that I wanted to have Aaron come in and talk to you guys today. And as we progress through this pilot, I would love to see more and more of you utilizing the LinkedIn Learning platform for your professional development, and also come back and revisit. We'll have another presentation by next month. It'll be focused more on something that you all will benefit from once you set up your LinkedIn profile. So a challenge for all of you student employees that are, or full-time staff that are on the call today. If you haven't set up your LinkedIn profile, follow through with Aaron's guidance today and create your own LinkedIn profile. If you're a creative person, turn on your creative mode as well, and begin to connect. LinkedIn Learning,
and
right?
If I can just add to what Jay was saying, especially the creative aspect. Like, I have always wanted to do videos and had never really had the confidence to do so. But the thing about LinkedIn is there's so many things that are new, or so many people that aren't doing, that even if you don't have a lot of experience, it's a great place to try and to test, because no one's doing it anyway. I talk to my wife often, like, there's so many things I can do on LinkedIn with video that if I were to try to do it on YouTube, like, I'd be miles behind everyone else. But I'd be miles ahead if I put it on LinkedIn, because no one is creating video, no one is doing anything unique. So it's a really great place to showcase what you can, or to test the water and get the confidence to just put yourself out there a little more, because the community is just so much more receptive.
Yes.
The other thing I want to say, like, the way you interact is going to be determined by what you're trying to do. So for instance, I have never once said I'm looking for work, because I'm not looking for work. I'm not telling people that I'm trying to create business. But if you say you're looking for work and you're active and you're commenting, essentially you're giving people a green light to look at what you say, look at what you do, and then send you the opportunity to interview with them or get hired on the spot, because you put yourself in that position by saying, I'm open to work and I'm doing these different things. In the presentation, I put the links to all the profiles, including mine. So if you want to reach out to me as you build out your profile, feel free, feel welcome. Let me show that really quick to you.
Does anyone else have any other questions while we close today's event, while he's getting his screen ready? Feel free to put that in the chat as well.
So here are all the different people. You'll have this as a PDF, and so you can have these links. What I always recommend when it comes to connecting, follow. If you want to connect, you need to send a personal message. So just tell them, I saw you sent a video to Aaron Barreto, who presented to me today. Make sure you say my full name, and just give them a personal message, and I'm sure they're going to connect with you. Mine is at the very bottom. So if you want me to take a look at your profile, connect with me, send me a message, and I'd be willing to spend some time with you to walk you through that process.
Yeah, what Aaron shared with you all today, the video, is a perfect example of how all he had to do was post, on his LinkedIn profile and on his timeline, and say, I'm getting ready to do this presentation. Share with me. I mean, I saw the comments coming through within a matter of seconds, and a lot of these people, as you saw, they're global, they're not local. You know what I'm saying? They came in from all different parts of the world and presented their videos, and Aaron just compiled it and shared it with you today. So that is how quickly LinkedIn can connect you guys to people. I mean, this to me is an amazing opportunity to connect with like-minded people. Look at that. That was a post, and within a matter of seconds, if not minutes, look at the number of posts that he got and the number of likes he got, and the engagement. 3,697 people viewed it. And so this to me, so you can't sit there and complain about the employers or recruiters not seeing your resume anymore. You have a platform. And those of you who do not know me, you can see my name there. I'm Jayshree Bhatt. I serve as the Assistant Vice President for UTRGV's Office of Professional Education Workforce Development. And the main reason that we're doing this expanded pilot is for you all to benefit from not only the LinkedIn Learning platform, but also to kind of transfer some of that skill sets that you're gaining through that platform to showcase through your LinkedIn profile. So please spend a few minutes in the next couple of days, create your own LinkedIn profile. And we might have a competition that we'll be setting up soon to see how some of you are beginning to use a LinkedIn profile as well. So stay tuned for that. When we send you email from my office, please respond to that. And in the future, some of your classmates or colleagues that work with you in the same department, if they didn't tune in, let them know that this video will be available through our YouTube channel, and have them follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel so they can see more videos like this as well. So with that, I believe we have had, I think that answers Gail Flores's question, correct? So yes, the link, the presentation will be on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe so that you can see it on your timeline as well. So with that, it's already 12:30. I want to thank each one of you that tuned in today. And especially our guest speaker, Mr. Aaron Barrero. Thank you so much for making time to connect with your, I wanted to say fellow students, but you're an alum, but students from your alma mater. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Claudia, you had your hand up. I just noticed that.
No, she's clapping.
I was just clapping. Yes,
Oh,
thank
okay,
you.
I'm
Thank you,
sorry.
Aaron.
Yeah.